Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 561 of the Two Dum Yinzers. Yinzers.
Yeah.
It it is gonna be hot, hot moving forward. It's gonna be hot today, but next week here in the area in Western PA, it's gonna be 99 degrees two different times. 99 degrees two different times.
I think I have to take some personal days from work.
I knew you would love that because you hate the heat.
I hate the heat. It's oh god, where I work's gonna be so hot, even with all the doors open and fans blasting. Oh
Two different times. I'm pulling it up right now just to get some
yeah.
exacts, but let's see. So next week it'll be starting on Sunday, it's gonna be 88. And then I get an
Ooh.
ad. Then I get an ad right in the middle.
Naturally, that's how it always works.
Yeah. And and the ad don't go away. It's one of these ones that has to
Uh,
go through.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course it does.
So Sunday it's gonna be 88. Monday is gonna be 94. Tuesday 95. Wednesday 94. And I think at the end of the week are gonna be the 99 days. So
Yeah.
get whatever you got to
Uh,
get done early in the week because
yeah.
once it gets to the later in the week here, it's gonna be 100 degrees.
Oh no. Everyone's be cutting their grass like early in the morning or late at night.
Mm.
Mm, no. I got the grass cut early this weekend. I'm not doing it. Oh god. Oh no, I forgot Saturday. Oh god, I got yard work to do.
But like tomorrow,
Yeah, like tomorrow.
at least it's only going to be like 78. I think tomorrow's only going to,
Okay, that's the one in the 70. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because it doesn't start till like what Sunday, Monday.
yeah. So
The
tomorrow won't be
big
too
heat
bad.
wave. That won't be too
Maybe,
bad. All right. I won't die of a heart attack out there working.
I mean, if it doesn't May, it's still yard work. So, I mean, it's going to suck, but
Yeah, you know.
78 and 99, that's.
No. Yeah, that's yeah, I've made the mistake in the past of trying to work outside in the 90-degree heat. That's a no-go.
Yeah. Mike, let's get started with these Pirates. I want to get it done because I
I,
either got pirate fever or the Pirates are making me sick. It's one or the other.
pirate, like I said yesterday, pirate fever is all encompassing. You feel good and you get sick all within a span of a day.
So they go into this series. They win the first game, and they do this a lot. If you look back through their
Yeah.
schedule, a lot of times they win early and then they lose the next two games. I kind of noticed this is a pattern. They faced the Cardinals yesterday in game three of three. The series was tied one apiece. They tried to get the series, of course, winning the first game, losing the second game. They faced Lance Lynn on Sunday, or I'm sorry, Thursday to wrap up the series. Pirates couldn't get it done. They lose 4-3. Pirates dropped to 32 and 36, while the Cardinals are now 33 and 34. The division looks like this at the moment. Milwaukee's at top, and now it's real leapfrog because everybody's leapfrogging each other here because St. Louis is 6.5 back, Cincinnati is 7 back, Chicago's 7.5 back, and the Pirates are 8 back. So there's a half game difference between the four remaining teams in the division behind Milwaukee. But just as simple as it turned away, I mean, we were in second place, and here we are a game and a half out of
Yeah.
second place behind. So, this is what I thought was going to happen. I thought they would, maybe get, St. Louis ain't that good. They go to Colorado today. I thought maybe they would be able to gain a little bit of ground. But I don't know if St. Louis is, I don't know what the hell that was. They weren't supposed to be good.
No, well, the lineup we had out there yesterday it was not a good lineup. It was not a lineup that you were going to win with, not one that's showing that you're serious to win. It was set up for failure from the get go.
On one hand, the Cardinals seem to always beat us no matter what.
Yeah,
No matter how poor they're playing or how decent we are, the Cardinals always seem to have our number. So it doesn't surprise me, but it's kind of it's kind of disappointing in a way because that's a series that we were supposed to get another win in, and like I said, you're going out to Colorado. You can hopefully get some wins out in Colorado. They got three guys that are they're terrible. We'll go over that in here shortly on the hill. And also then we come home next week in the heat to play Cincinnati, hoping we could get a little bit of ground there. They are only a game ahead of us. But that's where we stand right now. Pirates 32 and 36. They lose the series 2-1. They get out hitting this game 7 7-8. St. Louis has 8 hits. Pirates hit 7. So, I mean, that was kind of even. The Pirates have lost 6 straight game threes of a series. That's what I'm saying, Brian. Hey, good morning, Brian. That's what I'm saying. They get that first win. They have such a hard time. They have such a hard time getting that second win and winning the series. Um, Again, we should do okay with these pitchers that Colorado are bringing. The series starts tonight, 8:40, game 1 of 3 against Colorado. But these are the guys that they're throwing against us. Ryan Feltner. Ryan Feltner's 1-5 with a 5.74, 59 strikeouts on the season. Tomorrow is going to be Ty Black, who's 2-4 with a 4.84, 22 strikeouts on the season. And Sunday's Dakota Hudson. Hudson's 2-8 with a 4.87 and 36 strikeouts on the season. That's 5, 5, 9, 9, 17. They're 5 and 17 collectively, those three pitchers, Mike.
Well, you can already mark that Sunday game down as a loss. We're going to have more or less the lineup we saw yesterday out there on Sundays.
Sunday lineup. I hate it.
And we used the Sunday lineup yesterday. It was a farce and a joke. I read it going off air who we had out there, and you can just, you can just tell they weren't, or Shelton wasn't 100% in it to win it. And he was like, we'll throw these guys out there. Like you finally get Henry. He hit a home run, starting to look like he was going to do something. So let's send him down a game. It makes zero sense. Zero sense. We had guys on the bench that we didn't play yesterday in key situations in the ninth inning when we had a chance to, come back and win this game. Let's keep McCutcheon on the bench, Connor Joe on the bench, guys who have been hitting, and let's keep, Taylor out there and Sawinski out there. It zero sense. It's frustrating. But that is Pirate baseball. That's Pirate baseball.
What's somewhat relieving about this, game 1 we won 2-1. Second game we won 4-2. Third game we lost. We lost 4-2. Third game we lost 4-3. They were all close games. But is this just where we're at? We're just not that good of a team? Because to me it doesn't make sense, and I'm going to explain why. We got pretty good starting pitching. Our bullpen is improving. I'll get to that in just a moment. And the hitters, you got a Gold Glover, Brian Hayes. You got this rookie, second-year phenom in O'Neal Cruz. They have players. What is it about the Pittsburgh Pirates? No matter who comes in and out of this organization, they're just always going to be a bad team. I don't understand, Mike, what it is, because you have 2 or 3 pieces in place. And on every odd day, the offense hits the ball for whatever reason that is, and then they're terrible the other, the even days. But is this just where we're at? We're just not that good of a team. We're gonna play 4-3 games with the Cardinals. We're gonna play 2-1 games with the Cardinals, and that's just about as good as it's gonna get for the Pirates.
Yeah, they're just an average ball club. That's what they are right now. They're just an average team. Like you said, they have pieces there, but we need more. We need more pieces to the puzzle. But I don't think they're ever going to add those pieces. Unfortunately, like we keep saying, Connor Joe, for as damn good as he's playing right now, for his ability, he should be coming in off the bench. There's pieces there. There's guys that are major leaguers, but they're some of them shouldn't be everyday players. And then you throw into the fact that our manager is a complete idiot. Going out there, and that lineup yesterday was a farce. It was a joke. You have a chance of winning, winning the series. That would be 3 series wins in a row. That would elevate you back up into the wild card. That would elevate you back up into second place, and they don't do it. They're just an average team, and to play above average, they need help. They need help from the front office, and they need help from the manager. And it's not going to be there.
Let me ask you this: they're going out to Colorado today, Mike. They do play game 1 of 3, as I said, against the Rockies tonight at 8:40. I'm not even confident this team could go down to Colorado and get 2 wins. Mike, Colorado is 22, 24 and 44.
Yeah. Should
24
be a sweep.
and 44. A good team would go into Colorado, sweep them, and you know what? Maybe the home team gets a little bit of thin air advantage, and they pull out a win. But I have no confidence that this team is going to go to Colorado and win this series.
Yeah. I I think they're gonna pull 2 out of 3 when they should win all 3. Of course, right now the only pitcher scheduled to start that we know of is Jared Jones. So I might retract that. I think that we only might get 1 win.
I'm looking at this
And
probable list, and of course today is today's reliever day, isn't it? Today's the day that you get all
yeah,
the
today's reliever day. So and we
Mars
got
Jones.
Jones, and then after that, it's reliever day as well.
Now, shouldn't the following day be Paul Skeens?
It should be, but it's showing him against the Reds, unless that's just ESPN and they're guessing who the starters are going to be. So if it's Jones Skeens there, we should win. We should win. But if they give Paul Skeens a Sunday lineup, he gives up 1 run. Is that going to be enough for his first loss?
Some moves are being made. Of course, the big problem was the bullpen. See, this team's like a cancer. It's not like fever. It's like cancer. It's like bucko cancer.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, here's why I'm saying this. You cut one piece out and it spreads to a different part of the body. Because what they're doing now is they're trying to fix the bullpen,
Yeah.
and the hitting all of a sudden can't hit again. And if they get the hitting fixed, then it's going to be something else, and it's going to be fielding. This is what the pitchers did yesterday in the 4-3 loss to the Cardinals. Mitch Keller, he starts the game, gets 6 innings pitched, gives up 8 hits, 4 runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. But here's what I'm talking about. The moves that we made in the bullpen, we brought over Brill last week. I know you remember him. And then also Dennis Santana, we got from the Yankees just the other day. He was in yesterday. And we also traded away Jose Hernandez to the Dodgers for cash considerations. So yesterday, the relief pitchers look like this. Let me give you the numbers first, and I'll give you who did it.
Yeah.
The pitchers yesterday, Mitch pitched his 6. These 3 pitchers pitched 2 innings, gave up no hits, no earned runs, no walks, and they get 2 strikeouts in 2 innings of pitching. This is Brill, who just came over.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Santana, who just got into town yesterday, and Stratton. Those 3 guys, Brill, Santana, Stratton, pitched 2 innings, gave up no hits, no earned runs, no walks, and got 2 Ks. Our closer can't even do that. Our closer can't get out through an inning without giving up a hit or a run, or
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're improving. They seen where they needed improvement. They went out and made a few moves. And so far from what I've seen from Brill and Santana, those are pretty good moves.
Yeah. And this is like the frustrating part that we always talk about. When one part of the team's doing well, the other's not. We saw it right here. The relief pitchers came in, after, Killer gave up 4, and the offense completely falls apart. We couldn't do anything after that. We scored 3 runs in the 5th inning, and then nothing else. We couldn't do anything. We left 8 runners on base. Like, come on now, do something here. It's just frustrating because that game was a winnable game, especially with that bullpen that's been a thorn in our side. They came in and they shut them down. From the 6th inning on, they shut them down, and we couldn't do diddly poo.
The offense, as I said, we got out hit 8-7, which ain't that bad. These players all got 1 hit. 1 hit. Nobody got more than a hit in this game. Hayes, Reynolds, Cruz, Oliveras, Tellez, Grandel, and Taylor, they all get 1 hit in this game. O'Neill Cruz gets 2 RBIs. Brian Reynolds the other.
But even those guys they needed to do more this game.
Yeah.
1 for 5 and 1 for 4. They needed to do more, especially with everyone else who was in that lineup.
See, that's what I'm saying. The cancer now moved to the offense. They cut out the cancer in the bullpen. We hope. I mean, it could come back just like
Yeah,
cancer. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. This is bucko cancer. It's not bucko fever. These guys are like cancer. You cut out the bullpen cancer, you fix it, and you find out that it's spread to the offense. Now we're going to work on the offense and try to fix that. And then once we fix that, it's going to spread and go somewhere. This is just it's the Pirates.
yeah. My thing is though, like you had guys on the bench that could have came in and pinch hit and then played in the field. You had Connor Joe who could have hit for Telez and he could have played out there. You had McCutcheon who could have hit for Sawinski. You put Reynolds out in left field, make cuts the DH the rest of the game. Why weren't they used? If this is a game you had to win to stay in contention, and Shelton doesn't do it. It's just managerial malpractice. It's
It's like
what's happening right now.
he has
He has
no
no clue.
connect. He has no connect with what's going on around him,
Mm-mm.
with the team, with the league, with positions, with place.
Yeah,
And one thing they always say is we're focusing on what we're doing. We're not worrying about what the newspapers and the statistics say. But this is one of them situations you got to kind of pay attention with the system
yeah,
because you're in a race here for
yeah,
one.
yeah. You need
And
to
for
know where
two,
you're at.
if you're only focusing on what the team is doing, you're not doing that great of a job because the team's not playing very well.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're only focusing on the team, you should know, like, oh shit, man, we lost the game before. We should really, go out and try and win.
Right. There's
Put the
no
best
rhyme or
lineup we
reason
out there
to what he
so we can win
does.
this. Yeah, no. And
There's,
you know, the manager before Clint Hurnell was the same way. I don't understand what's going on with the Pirates in their philosophy of we're just going to sit guys down because is it their time to get a break? If that's the case, that is stupid. If they
if
have
I'm a if I
predetermined, you know,
if I'm a coach, Mike, I wouldn't be afraid to put a guy in for one pitch.
yeah,
If I bring in a lefty to face a guy, and the guy, I don't know, let's say we strike him out or whatever, and the next guy's coming in, and I don't think it's a good matchup, I'm gonna walk out to that mound, grab the ball, and call out the
mm-hmm,
guy that I feel is best to perform that next task.
yeah, that's what
They
you
don't
have to
have
do.
that. He doesn't have that ability.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if it's the it's a respect thing in a locker. I don't care about none of that. You're trying to win baseball games. I mean, look at again, go to Tony La Russa and Joe Torre and all these guys. They
Yeah,
never sat on their hands. They
no,
never sat on their hands. They were always
no,
making moves.
yep. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but at least you're making the move. You're attempting to put your team in the best position to win. And he's just going out there going, all right, this is who we got. Let's go, boys. And it's
Right.
just frustrating.
And you play a really good series. Okay. And you're coming down to the last game. It's a Sunday. And you think to yourself, we played really good to this point. We played hard. I don't want to waste this. I don't want to waste what we've done. I don't
Yeah.
want to waste the work that we put in to get, the wins that we have. Let's do everything possible. Let's put the right pieces in places and get this win and not lose this series. But
Yeah.
as Brian said on the board earlier, the Pirates have lost 6 straight game threes.
That's
Six
that's
straight.
unacceptable.
That's bad coaching because here's the
Yeah.
thing. What's the chances you lose all the game threes? They're not losing all the game ones. They're not losing all the game twos. That comes down to something internal. They lost 6 straight game threes. Focus on trying to win that baseball game because obviously they're not.
Yeah. He's just a terrible, terrible manager. And we've been saying it all year, especially you, man. That Sunday lineup, that
I
Sunday,
hate the Sunday lineup.
yeah, it makes no sense. You don't have to rest all your
And
good players
why?
at the same time. Rest, one or two, but let them know, hey, if shit hits the fan and we need you, you're fucking playing. I don't care if we told you you're getting the day off. No, we need you.
Especially
You're playing.
when the following day is a day off,
Yeah.
which was the case this week. They gave all them guys the game off Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They lost, and then they
Yeah.
had Monday off anyway. Well, if
Yeah.
you're gonna lose and you're gonna give the guys, you might as well just, keep them
Yeah.
in, try to win, and then give everybody the day off on Monday.
Yeah. And doing that, you break up continuity. You break up the rhythm that players are getting into. It made no sense to sit down Henry Davis yesterday. Yeah, he has been playing well, hasn't been hitting well, but you know what? Hey, reward him. He got, had a big home run the game before. Let's see if he can get back on track and hit another, or bring that batting average up, get a couple hits. No, showing signs of life, we're going to sit you down for a game. Way to break up the rhythm. He's managerial malpractice. That's what he's inflicting upon this team in this town.
Good morning to Steeler Freak. Yeah, Derpy is AWOL. You know what's so wild about Derpy though? He texts me for 23 hours a day. Ryan, we gotta talk about this. Ryan, let's do this. Ryan.
And then he's not never here.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what he's doing? Who knows? But Pirates, yes, they have next. they are on their way out to Colorado. I'm sure they're already there. Game 1 of 3 tonight, 8:40. It should be the bullpen lineup or the bullpen starting pitching strategy they use that I've never seen anybody use this strategy the way that we are with these bullpen pitchers. I've never seen this.
Like,
let's start Majinski, let him pitch 1 inning.
Yeah.
Then we'll bring in Luis Ortiz. We'll let him pitch 1 inning. Like, well, who does this? No wonder we're no good.
I know you see it occasionally throughout the league, but not as consistently as the Pirates have. Yeah, I know we got starting pitchers out, but isn't there anyone in the minors that you can call up? Isn't there anyone on the waiver wire that you can, that can come in and throw 3 innings? And Steeler Freak, no, the press doesn't ask the questions to Shelton as why he does what he does with the Sunday lineups. They'll ask on Twitter, they'll put it out there on Twitter, but when it comes time to face the music to them, I never seen, reading the papers or in interviews them ask this question.
The problem here in Pittsburgh with the media, they don't want to jeopardize their media credentials. They don't want to piss off people in the organizations of the Steelers, the Pirates, the Penguins, because they want to have access. They want to continue to have access, and they don't want to jeopardize that. And I think a lot of times that's the case, which is bullshit, because they should be able to ask whatever questions they need to ask. It's it's the press.
Yeah, and a lot of them are, like you said, they're scared. They don't want to lose access.
Absolutely. And on one hand, would you? But on the other hand,
but
you're not
that's your job.
You're technically not doing your job by not asking these questions. So
yeah,
I hate that. I hate that.
Like, but then they'll ask like what they think are tough questions that are stupid questions, and the coach and manager like looks at them like, no, I'm not answering. What? That's stupid. Like, oh, they refuse to answer the hard hitting questions. No, you ask stupid hard hitting questions. Ask the real questions that need to be asked.
So the Pirates do. They dropped the series 2-1, 2-1 to the Cardinals. That I thought that they had a great chance, especially with Paul Skeens coming out and pitching game 1. I thought for sure with Keller pitching game 3, Falter in game 2. I thought for sure, even if the sweep, I thought that they would certainly win 2 games.
Me too. I thought they would keep their string of winning series going, and I should have known better with this Bucco team. The great Derek Shelton.
Yeah, you're right, Steeler Freak. It's a bipolar approach to major league pitching and coaching and the whole 9. The whole team is driving me crazy. Because one day they look so good, and you get up and you're up in spirits. You're like, okay, well, this is a good thing. They could do this. They just showed that they could hit the ball a lot. They could score a lot of runs. They could get people out. But the very next day, that team it's gone, and they can't score any runs, and they let up 10 runs. It's I've never seen it. Bipolar is the best way to describe this team.
I just wish we had an owner that would allow the GM to go make the moves that the GM needs to make the moves for, and I wish we had the right GM to go make those moves.
Let's talk of some Pirates things a little bit outside of yesterday's game.
Do we have to?
In series? Well, this is the good stuff.
All right.
Paul Skeens has thrown 60. Paul Skeens has thrown 60 major league pitches at 100 miles per hour plus. No other starter has more than 33 on the season. And you got to remember, Skeens has only been pitching 1 month.
Yeah. And his arm's showing no signs of slowing down.
I love him. He's such a beast. He's a generational freak.
God, when he can throw the mix in that curveball too.
Mm.
Jesus, he's nasty.
Jose Soriano is the only other pitcher who has he has 33. He's the only starting pitcher that has that many. Again, Paul Skeens has 60 pitches at 100 miles per hour plus after only 1 month of play. The second player has 33. That's Soriano. Mike, this is a question that keeps coming up. I certainly know that Brian has asked this on the board. And Houston has showed a little bit of interest, but Trevor Bauer, if the Pirates would sign a guy like Bauer and have a Skeens, Jones, Keller, Bauer, Falter rotation, I think that would be the best case scenario. And let me give you a little bit more. Of course, we all know that Trevor Bauer had a little bit of trouble off the field, and that's why nobody's touching him. They're avoiding him like the plague. But Trevor Bauer, right now in Mexico, has a 7-0 record, a 1.53 ERA, 76 strikeouts, and 53 innings pitched. And it's Mexico. These guys play good baseball down there. It's not like this is up in Canada or in Europe somewhere. The Latino, they love their baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And in that region, Trevor Bauer again is 7-0, 1.53, 76 strikeouts, and 53 innings. Do you think anybody's going to touch Trevor Bauer? And again, the Houston Astros did express some interest earlier
Yeah.
this week. I did see this, but I would be all aboard because doing things the right way certainly isn't working for the Pirates. Guess what? Go
Yeah.
out of the box now and get this.
Yeah, if you want to win, you know what?
They don't want to win. That's the
They
problem.
don't. They don't. Like he'll
They
work
prove it
for cheap.
decade after decade, not even day after day or after year after
Decade
year.
after
Mike, they prove
decade.
it decade after decade.
They do.
That
They
they
do.
have no desire to win.
No. And it's kicked the can down the road. And like I said before, the can finally made it to the end of the road with the with the prospects that we have up here. Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, Mitch Keller were all at one point, really high prospects, and now they're fucking here and ready to go. You
And we're
got
still
Brian
losing
Hayes, you
every
got
game.
yeah, you have your guys here now, and they just don't want to do anything. It's just
What did Washington do when they got Steven
ridiculous.
Strasburg? They built a good
Added.
team. They built a good team around him, and they won baseball games, and they start making the playoffs. Why isn't that the same situation with what's going on here with Paul Skeens? Mike, I can't. And again, I'm hopelessly hopeless and hopeful because I every day get up
I
and
know
say
what
to
you mean. Yeah,
myself, if this team does this, they could win. If this team does that, I'm just wasting my time and my energy. So
yeah. That's just the ups and downs. Well, the downs and the downs and the downs of being a Pirate fan.
it's all downs.
It is very little ups. It's only up on Mustache Day.
Mike, they made it to the playoffs 3 times in 30 years.
I know it's pathetic.
In 2 of those years, they couldn't even get past a wild card game.
Yeah, and then they got swept right after that.
No, they played a really good series against the Cardinals, but nonetheless, it wasn't successful. It was more successful than what they did the other 27 years.
Yeah.
But geez, come on. Steeler Freak says highs and lows is the indicator of bad leadership management. It could be considered worse, the continuous bad play because folks see the potential. That's the thing. There is potential.
Yeah.
There really is. There's something missing. And is it a good coach? Is it a good coach, Mike, that's missing here? Is this the problem?
Yeah. It's a good manager and a good hitting coach. They
need to clean a house.
I hate to jump on the bandwagon of coach is always the coaches, but you can see it on this team. It's the coaching because you got guys that they go down to the minors and their swing's different and they're crushing the ball. They're hitting
Michael,
the ball.
what about when they go to Houston and they're pitching in the World Series, or they go to the Yankees and they're pitching in the American League Championship Series?
Yeah.
What is it about this franchise? That's the question of the day.
Yeah. It's weird, man. It's like the organizational philosophy to hitting and pitching is so outside the box. It doesn't work.
There's just some teams that will never get it. Like the Browns. We're the Browns.
We are the Browns.
I mean, the Browns
won
championships
we're
in the
bringing
past
Bauer. We really will be the Browns.
Especially if we overpay him.
I know, right?
We bring in Bauer and overpay
Well, that's
him.
one thing we don't have to worry about. This owner will never overpay for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his wardrobe.
My last question about baseball, Mike, and then we'll move on. We have a lot today heading into the weekend. this is a little bit of a controversial question, which, you know what, at first I shook off, but after thinking about it, it's not a bad question. All right. Should the Major League Baseball include Japanese baseball stats to the books?
No.
It's a league that that wasn't the majors. It's not the majors. You could take all the statistics. Guys constantly come back and forth from our leagues to their leagues, to our country to their country. After giving the Negro League the Major League statistic status and putting all their records and stats and everything into Major League Baseball, why would it not be considered fair to put Japanese baseball in there as well?
Two different countries, and the Japanese players weren't excluded the way the black players were. They weren't over here having their own league in America. They had their own league in their own country. It'll be like, let's add like, the Dominican League in. Let's add the Mexican League in. No, the
When you have
reason
a
the Negro
league,
League was here was because they were segregated. They weren't allowed to
but
be
we
here.
don't know. I
They
mean,
were all trying to play here,
Japanese players could have been blacklisted, and we don't know that.
but not to that extent.
I
Not to
mean, the
where they
papers
have their
doesn't
own
tell us,
league in
but of
America.
course, you
No,
can't record every single piece of history constantly. But I mean, it's a legit question considering that
no,
players from all around the world are constantly here playing in our baseball. I mean, the Latino players that aren't from America, they take up a huge population of the majors. Why shouldn't everything that they've done to this point matter?
because it wasn't done. They weren't playing here in America.
What if they could have been playing here in America?
The Japanese league was not here in America. The
I'm
Japanese
talking
league
I'm
was in
talking about the
Japan.
Latinos
Oh, well,
because
the Latino league, yeah, there was no, yeah, they,
I mean the
there was no
Padres,
Latino.
like the Padres as a
Yeah,
a Spanish word. I
yeah.
mean, how can you not say that they're not a big part of this league,
But
this
what I'm
country?
saying is, though, like we had to have an entire league because we don't let a whole group of people play. There was no Latino league in America. There was no Japanese
So how do
league
you,
in America. So yeah, because it was done in America. Like the Japanese league was done in Japan,
but at that time it
but at
wasn't
that time there
legal.
was no big.
It wasn't legal for them. It wasn't right for them to play in the majors. So how could you now say
But
you
they
throw out
weren't trying to make
what
it
is the
into the Major
fact?
League Baseball at that time.
You take out what is the fact, then you could also take out the fact that these other people play for leagues that are Mexican leagues. Again, this is going to be
Weren't
something that
trying to come in though. They weren't trying to be over here and immigrate here to play baseball.
I'm sure somebody was,
Well, one or two guys,
but
if
still,
that.
hey.
No, we told an entire group of Americans that you're no, you can't
But
play
again,
here.
they weren't considered human beings. So you take what's
No.
fact of the time and you turn around and you say, okay, well now everything's better. Let's put all the numbers together. Then you have to consider other
And that's a
scenarios.
whole you're so then okay. At that same time, let's add in they're playing baseball over in Holland. So let's add all those stats and
Which
they're
has
playing.
nothing to do with Major League Baseball. But I'm saying the
Well,
large
that same thing with Japanese
population. I'm
baseball.
not large
Japanese league
population
baseball
that is
has something to do
Mexicans.
with that
No,
time
no, no, no,
as
no, no, no,
well.
no, no, no. What I'm saying is the large population that is Hispanic players that play here. They could. What I'm saying is they could some day in the future come out and say that you have this, X amount of your league is Hispanic players from Hispanic countries. Why shouldn't something that we've done all the way up to the point when we got in the majors? What I'm saying is I don't agree. Don't get me wrong. I'm not arguing the point. However, I'm just saying this could open the door for a lot of different things. And here in America, Mike, you can't offend anybody or tell anybody that they're
No,
wrong. So I think that this could be an issue.
no, because the MLB and the Negro League were run parallel to
But they're
each
two different
other.
leagues. They're two different
But
leagues. It's like
they
why don't
ran
you add the
parallel. They wouldn't
UFL?
allow them
Why
to
don't you put the
intermingle.
UFL statistics in with the NFL?
That was a rival league.
It doesn't like it
Those guys
doesn't
would have been.
matter. That's
They weren't.
irrelevant.
Those guys were
If they were a rival
excluded.
or not a
They weren't
rival,
excluded
the
from the
point of the
NFL
point of the
due
matter
to
is
their. They weren't excluded
90
to their
years
NFL.
later, they're all the same.
No, they're not. They weren't excluded from the NFL. They
No, I'm
could have
talking
went and
about
tried
the
out
I'm
for
talking
those
about the Negro
teams.
leagues. So 90
Yeah, the
years
Negro
later,
leagues, they weren't even allowed in the major leagues. That's why there was the Negro League, and that's why those records should be combined because there were two parallel leagues designed because of segregation.
so again, I don't agree. I agree with what happened. I like the fact that they included. But I'm just saying, I just think that this could open an ugly door somewhere down the road. And the fact that we can't offend anybody or tell anybody no anymore, I think that
You can
that's going
tell
to make
people
it.
no.
Of course, you understand what I'm saying. And the fact of the matter is
I
this:
don't.
you don't think that we're not you're trying to make things not offensive to people anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Oh,
That's the point I'm making. So if what I said confused you, I apologize.
no, no, no.
That's my
Like,
point I'm making. That's
no, like,
because I'm not arguing with you. Listen to
yeah,
me.
yeah, I know you're not arguing with me.
What I'm saying is I think that this could ultimately lead to other things like this down the road. That's all I'm saying. And again, I'm all about the Negro Leagues putting their numbers in with
Yeah.
the
Oh,
majors.
yeah.
I really am. I think it's a great thing,
Yeah.
and especially with Gibson here from Pittsburgh, I think it's super.
Oh, yeah. 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 Okay, I got confused for a second. You know
But
how
I'm
it is
just
when
saying
we,
that somebody else,
get into it. I get confused a little.
I just think down the road, I think down the road, when things get different and change for the, like they do over time, things change. Things
I don't think it
change.
will ever happen just because how
I
like
didn't think that they would ever include the Negro Leagues in the majors
yeah,
either, though.
but that it was the parallel leagues just because they
The
literally do the
slippery slope. That's the good word, Brian, on the board.
yeah,
It's,
that is good. So
but I've really exhausted this baseball thing, guys. You want to talk some
slippery
football?
slope.
Let's talk football.
Yes, yes, because I cannot do that alliteration with slippery slope, as you can tell. Slippery slope.
Let's talk a little bit of football, guys. Russell Wilson, if you didn't know, led the NFL in fourth quarter touchdowns last season. I don't know if that's a good statistic or not, because Kenny Pickett did really good in the fourth quarter, scoring as well. But what happened in the first, second, and third quarters of those games
Yeah.
that he had to put up a lot of touchdowns in the fourth? Also, Mike, Terrell Austin.
Yes.
Let me talk linebackers here for a minute because we're going to get back to quarterbacks shortly. Let's talk linebackers for just a minute. Terrell Austin, the defensive coordinator for this Pittsburgh Steelers team, says Peyton Wilson has a chance to be the dime linebacker. He says, quote, that guy can really run, end quote. Mike, do you think that Peyton Wilson is going to be, I mean, everything that I've seen so far is this guy's going to be dynamic. He's going to be a big part of this defense.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a huge amount of playing time. I think he's going to push Landon Roberts for that number 2 spot.
Wouldn't you shit if he beat out a
Oh,
Landon Roberts?
that would be amazing.
Look at how solid Roberts has played since he's been here.
Yeah.
I think he looks a lot like Lawrence Timmons as far as his style.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Lawrence Timmons.
Yeah, just a steady, consistent tackling machine, and that plays smart football. That's Lawrence Timmons to a T.
I agree. That's when I watch him.
Yeah,
They're built just a tad different, but you know what? The
yeah,
game, it's like watching
yeah.
LT
Like,
out there.
oh, when he had to get more reps, I was kind of worried. But man, he just dominated last year. He took over and playing with it felt like a new linebacker next to him every game. But yeah, if Peyton Wilson can take over that dime spot, oh my god, that's huge because you can see how fast he is, and if he can run with some of those receivers, some of those tight ends, that would be a huge thing, especially for him being a third round pick, rookie contributing at that level. That would be just another home run for Omar Khan in the
And a lot
Steelers.
of people keep, who's getting lost in the shuffle with all these names is Nick Herbig. This guy's still going to come out and play the way that he does
Oh yeah, is that
on
outside
defense.
edge?
Yeah,
Oh
I
god,
mean, his name hasn't been talked about much,
yeah.
but you got to remember that he's still there, and,
I
and what he
I
was starting to do last year was pretty impressive.
I I think he might push Highsmith for more playing time.
You know what? That's probably going to be your next outside guy. Once Watt or Highsmith is at the end of their road,
Yeah,
which of course Highsmith just signed a big contract. But you
yeah,
got to say, if Nick Herbig is still around, somebody else don't snatch him up in the meantime. I
yeah,
think he's going to be that guy. Mike also just announced
yeah.
yesterday. Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen, of course, we picked him up from the
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore Ravens. He's going to be wearing the green dot on defense this year. He will be
Yes,
calling the plays, brand
that.
new, out the cut,
Yeah,
wearing the dot. What do you like this?
I like it. Yeah, because he's gonna be your number one guy. He's gonna be out there the majority of the snaps. I like it. That shows you just how smart that guy is too. Because
Absolutely.
the green dot, you have to communicate to everyone and to be trusted as your first, your is first year on the team to have the green dot. That speaks volumes.
Let me before I move on. Steeler Frick on the board says our society is so jacked that logical conversations turns into polarizing topics immediately with no one open-minded or willing to change their. You know what? That's why I stopped having political debates, you're
Mhm.
never, ever, ever going to change the mind of the person you're debating. You're not. People are going to believe what they believe. And unless you're talking to a total adult who believes everything that anybody says, you never, ever will even get your point across because the person is already considering how they're going to try to shut you down next before they
Yeah.
even consider what it is you're saying. I refuse to have political conversations. I
Yeah.
refuse. It's
The, what one of the best I ever saw was a Twitter exchange. This lady, she was like, "Yeah, you can." She was like, "Yeah, you can present people with all the facts and all the figures that you want online, and that won't change someone's opinion." And guy replied back, "No, that's wrong." And she replied back with the research paper that she was one of the lead authors on.
yeah,
And the guy goes, "No, that's wrong."
yeah.
That just summed it up perfectly right there.
Which
Have
makes
all the
America
facts in front of you. Go, no.
which makes our great country beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I like the fact that everybody could have their own opinion and you're not thrown in prisons and killed for having an opinion. I it is one of the great things of our country, but I refuse to do the political arguments. Through my 20s, I debated a lot with guys at work and such. And one thing that I learned at the end of the day was nobody ever changed their mind or jumped ship and changed sides. It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's people.
Yeah, and yeah, Steeler figure right. Wilson, that talent is gonna force them to play him.
Um, yeah, Tomlin it is a great example. You're right. One more thing about a linebacker: the Cole Holcomb should be ready to participate when camp starts on July 25th. That's
That's
another
huge.
linebacker in
That's
the mix.
huge.
That is huge because now you have linebackers crawling out your ears, and it's not the I mean it's Landon Roberts, it's Patrick Queen, it's Peyton Wilson, it's Cole Holcomb. We got some good problems. Unlike
Yeah.
the Pirates, the Steelers have good
Yeah.
problems.
A good problem. Like we got depth at inside backer. We have no depth at D line. So if there's no D line depth, you need the depth at inside backer because those guys are going to get abused.
I agree, man. I like the depth, and hopefully Mark Robinson. I'd like to see a little bit more out of him this year, Mike. Of course, we've
Yeah.
we've debated back
Yeah.
and forth about Mark Robinson for the past two seasons, and you start to think
Yeah.
season three, you got to start wondering to yourself, is he going to be able to make this team or is he not?
I think he's just gonna just fall into being a special teams contributor and be that occasional guy to come in, fill some, some guy
Yeah,
needs a break here and there, be that guy to fill in where you don't lose a whole lot, which, you know what? I'll take that for what a sixth, seventh round draft pick, a solid special teamers for, about 4 or 5 years. I'll take that out of the late round pick.
Brian on the board says we have a ton of depth at wide receiver, just no starters.
Hey, we got one.
Ain't
We
that
got
the
one. We
truth?
got George.
We do got George. One more thing here about Coach Tomlin. Check this out, guys. Say what you will, whether you agree with his contract extension, whether you don't, whether you like him, whether you don't, whether you think that he's one of the best coaches, whether you don't, whether you think he's better than Cowher, whether you don't. This is fact. This is reality, guys. Mike Tomlin needs only 21 more wins to pass Chuck Noll all-time wins for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's right. Mike Tomlin, 2 seasons. I say you could get 21 wins. I mean, 2 to 3 years. That's why they extended him for the 3 years. I promise you. This is my take. But but you know what? How does that play out? 3 years is ample time to win 21 games. He gets 21 more wins, Mike. He passes Chuck Noll, and he will be the all-time winningest coach. Not championships and rings and things like this, but he will have more wins than any
Yeah.
other coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the history of this great franchise.
Hey, that's just adding up more and more victories for the organization. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I don't care who's getting me wins. That anything that makes the Steelers have a better win loss record, I'll take it. Want some more championships in there, but I'll take it. It would be funny if at the end of the 3 years he falls one victory short. That'd be funny.
Now, don't get me wrong. When he's getting inducted to the Hall of Fame, I am going to say there's my coach.
Yeah.
As much as over the years I complained, I bitched, I hated, I loved, whatever. It's like we were saying the other day with Derpy. We can make fun of Derpy.
Yeah. Nobody
else better,
Yeah.
And that's the case. You know what? F him. But you know what?
Yeah.
When he goes to the hall, that's my coach.
Yeah, like Bill Cowher for like I really love Bill Cowher. Then I hated Bill Cowher. Then I grew tired. I grew tired of him. I was happy he finally retired. I was just like at the tail end of the tower power. I just couldn't handle it anymore. Then he went in the Hall of Fame. Like that's my guy.
Yeah,
That's my guy.
absolutely. I love Coach Cowher. I mean,
Yeah,
the thing about
it,
Cowher, he has so many. I mean, he's from Clarion. He has or Clareton. I'm sorry.
yeah.
So many different things. He was a good football player in
Hmm.
college. He was a he. I like Coach. You
Yeah.
know what? And as I said, as Tomlin's getting his yellow jacket, I will be a Tomlin fan as well. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm still going to bitch. I'm going to moan. I'm going to complain because you know what? That's what we do here.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, Steelers head coach is the best job in the world. You just keep signing a new contract every 3 years. As long as you want to coach. Like if Cowher still wanted to coach, I think he would still be the head coach.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Be like, here's a 3 year deal. You just put it in the number figure in your signature and get it back to
All right,
us.
Mike, we do have to move on due to time. I apologize. Guys, I do have a list here. This is a list ranking every team's number two quarterback, their backup quarterback. Are you ready for this? I'm going
I'm
to go
ready for this.
backwards from 32 to 1, but these are the guys that back up the starters that you watch every Sunday, ranked from 1 to 32. The worst is Jake Hayner. Jake
Yeah.
Hayner is the backup down in New Orleans. He comes in at number 32. Sean Clifford, Mike, a guy that you're familiar with from Penn State.
Ugh.
He is Jordan Love's backup in Green Bay. He is the 31st best backup quarterback in the NFL this season. Let's move on. Tampa Bay's backup, Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask comes in at number 30 on this list. Justin Herbert's backup out in LA with the Chargers is Easton Stick. He's at number 29. Tua's backup in Miami, number 28, Mike White. Mike White. Number 27 in Detroit is Hendon Hooker. Tennessee.
That's a great name right there.
I know. Plus, he was really good down in Tennessee, so watch out for that guy. Number 26 is Baltimore's backup behind Lamar. Now that their backup from last year is gone, Josh Johnson. Guys, we might be facing Josh Johnson this year if Lamar bitches out
I'm
against us.
trying to remember who the hell Josh Johnson is.
You know what? Half of these names I've said so far, I don't
I think
recognize.
I've known all of them up until Josh Johnson.
Number 25, the backup behind Caleb Williams in Chicago's name is Tyson Baggett. Tyson Baggett.
Baggett, yeah, he played up there last year.
Number 24 is Allen's backup in Buffalo, Mitchell Trubisky. Of course, we know that
The
guy.
great Mitchell Trubisky, baby.
Now, right ahead of him is Jalen Hurts' backup in Philadelphia, Kenny Pickett. You know what's okay? Let me get to the third name shortly here, but it's going to be interesting because these guys are all backups now that were all in for
Yeah.
the starting positions last year in Pittsburgh. Number 22 is Davis Mills down in Houston. 21, Aiden McConnell for the Raiders. Number 20, Mike, Patrick Mahomes is backup. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz. I didn't even realize he was in Kansas City.
I forgot that he was.
Number 19,
I forgot
Desmond
he was still in
Ritter.
the league.
Desmond Ritter backing up down in Arizona.
Yeah.
Number 18, I think this is an interesting one. Zach Wilson at Denver. Zach Wilson, of course, you know the stories about him in the
Cougar hunting, baby.
Jets. Absolutely. And topping off the top of the second column, Marcus Mariota in Washington is the 17th, considered 17th best backup in the NFL. Now we're in the first column. These are the 16 best backups in the NFL, according to FanDuel. This next guy, number 16, another former Pittsburgh Steeler, Mason Rudolph. They say he's the 16th best backup in the NFL. Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph all come under the top half of the best backup quarterbacks. Number 15, Drew Lock in New York. Drew Lock in New York. I think that their starting quarterbacks should be low on this list.
Yeah, I think what's his name should be Rudolph should be above Drew Lock.
I do too. Number 14, guys, down in San Francisco, the backup to Brock Purdy is, of course, Josh Dobbs. We like this guy. These guys are all Steelers.
Yeah.
Number 13, the 13th best backup in the league is backing up Dak Prescott, of course, Cooper Rush. Number 12, former New England Patriots backing up Trevor Lawrence down in Jacksonville, Mac Jones.
Dude, that's a lot of first round picks.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
That's a lot of first round picks that are backups.
Number 11,
Oh my lord.
the Carolina Panthers backup is Andy Dalton, the Red Rider. He's still
Red Rocket's still
the
in
Red
the
Rocket is
league.
still in the league.
Damn.
Number 10, we're in the top 10 now. These are your top 10 best backups in the league by number. Number 10 is the Jets, Tyrod Taylor, behind Aaron Rodgers. Tyrod had good time up in Buffalo there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never really got,
Solid backup.
yes. These guys are all solid backups
Like
now.
when you think backup quarterback, I think Tyrod Taylor.
Right, right. Number 9, the backup up in Seattle, Sam Howell. I thought he had
Yeah.
potential being a
Yeah,
decent
he has
quarterback.
potential, but
All right. Number 8, Mike, for the Vikings, JJ McCarthy. A rookie
oh, wow, a
nonetheless.
rookie that high on this list over
Yes.
some of these guys.
They have a lot of good things to say about that McCarthy. I
Yeah.
don't see
I
it
tell
yet.
you what though, my God, you got Jordan Addison and Jetta up there. It's like, I'd like to be a backup quarterback up there and come in and play.
Number 7, the Browns backup, Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I have no problem with that up there. He's still a capable backup. He'll
Number
win you a game or
6,
two.
number 6, the Falcons, Michael Penix Jr.
That's way too way
Yes.
too high.
Number 5, the backup in Indianapolis, Joe
Gardner
Flacco.
Joe Flacco. You know
He's
what? If he can capture last year's form, I can dig it and being that high on the
absolutely.
list.
He can continue to do with what he did to that with that Cleveland team. I dig.
Yeah.
So there's 4 guys, the top 4 guys, the top 4 backups in the NFL going into this season, according to FanDuel. Number 4, the LA Rams backup is Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
Number 3, the backup in New England, Jacoby Brissett.
I like Jacoby Brissett as a backup. I think he's really, really good in that role.
Number 2, the second best, according to this list, second best backup quarterback in the league, Mike, for the Bengals, Jake Browning. How one would have said that's crazy, but do you remember? Oh, I don't know. I guess he didn't do too great, did he?
He didn't do too great, but he didn't do too bad. He had some pretty decent games there, but that high, that has to be taking in the supporting cast if everyone's there, if T Higgins there, and if yeah,
And
with
according to
everyone.
FanDuel, the number one out of 32 best backup in the NFL this coming season would be Justin Fields.
Yeah, baby.
So,
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm talking about.
do you think that most of this list was right? Do you think that
For the most part,
none of
yeah.
this list was right, or do you think that for the most part it's close enough?
It's close enough. The rookies being that high, I don't see it because you don't know how they're going to play in the NFL. Like I said, I think Mason Rudolph should have been a lot higher because every time he had a chance to play, backing up Ben outside a year or two, he played well. You saw what he did last year down the stretch. Saw what he did in that COVID year and that short notice. I think he should be much higher in the list. God, I think someone like Drew Lock should be way further down. Yeah, but it's not a bad list. You just hope your team never has to go to that guy.
I do want to say welcome to everybody that joined on the board while
Yeah,
I was on
started
another
popping off
page.
during the during
Yeah,
that segment.
I switched pages to get to that list, and I came back. I say welcome everybody.
Yeah,
But guys, we do got to move on. We're cutting short on time here. Mike, the snub of Caitlin Clark on the Olympic team is costing them so far 11 companies to drop their endorsement sponsorships, and they've already lost up to $60 million in sponsorship deals. That is so far. That is not complete. That is not final. But as of right now, 11 companies, major companies, dropped the sponsorship on the USA women's basketball team because of the Clark snub, and they lost $60 million. Is she one of the best players? She's not.
no,
However, she scored more points than anybody that ever played college basketball. I think that stands for something. My opinion, I think she should be there for one or two reasons: for that, or for the fact that you have to manage your marketing and your
yeah,
PR, and you're out to make money. That's the point of the business. and you could use her in that manner, and I think you could have made a killing. Of
Yeah.
course, they've lost $60 million so far. Mike, think of how much 60
Stupid.
million is, and that is just so far.
That's stupid. Uh WNBA and the NHL. I'm going to say it till I turn blue in the face. Worst marketing departments in professional sports. I think ferret
I couldn't
legging
agree
has better
more.
marketing.
Hey, you
Hey, I was putting some respect
you
on
say, yeah,
ferret
put
leg.
respect on
I was
fair
putting
legging.
respect on ferret leggings. I was putting them above the NHL and the WNBA.
Also, Mike, the Fever did win last night. They played the Atlanta Dream.
Yeah.
The Fever wins 91-84. Caitlin Clark scores 7 points. Next game that they play is Sunday at noon against the Chicago Sky. Once again, they must play them 30 times.
That's what it feels like. I was looking through the box score. The one chick, Boston, she had like what 27 points.
She's a beast, dude.
Yeah, she
She's
was
our big.
balling
She's our
out.
big man. Yeah,
Yeah,
she had a real good
I was
game.
like, God damn! And
I
someone
did.
else had like high 20s. I'm like, God damn! They finally getting some people playing.
They had this real weird situation. Like I couldn't find the game on TV, so I spoke into it. You know how you have that button that you could
Yeah,
speak, and I said the Indiana Fever, and it took me to the game, but I don't even know if this was even a real channel. It was so bizarre.
was it the
Uh,
Ion channel?
well, no, it wasn't Ion, but there was no commercials. When the game went to commercial, it just panned up, and you looked at the
you,
court the whole time.
you like someone's illegal feed
That's
is
what it
what you
felt like.
hacked
I thought, what
into.
is this? And then I went out of it and I thought, okay, well, if I go and I could look at the guide on what channel it's on, but the NB or something else was on. Something else was on at the
Yeah,
time, which wasn't that. And I thought, what am I, what did they send me to?
you're you're gonna have the FBI show up at the studio.
The let's see, the
Tubi,
passion
yeah, that's a good call. Might have been Tubi.
could I don't know. I don't know what the hell happened. But of course, the Steelers did wrap up mini camp yesterday. That is the last thing on football as I move forward here. Women's football, Mike, the Pittsburgh Passion taking their 5-0 record to Columbus tomorrow to play their last game of the regular season. And that game is at 6 o'clock. If they could, it looks like they're going to finish 6-0. This Columbus team is not that good. They just beat the Boston Renegades, who's usually the top team in the league. So they win tomorrow. They will be 6-0 to finish the season, Mike, going into the playoffs. Passion looking good. Also, the Riverhounds, they're back in action tomorrow, Mike. They play at 7 o'clock p.m. down at Highmark Stadium. They host the Hartford Athletic. The Hartford Athletic. And finally, the UFL, Mike, the UFL championship is on Sunday, Sunday, 5 o'clock at the St. Louis Dome where the Battlehawks played. That game is going to be between the what were they? The USFL champions,
Yep.
the Birmingham Stallions, and they're going to play the XFL champions, the San Antonio Brahmas. That game is at 5 o'clock. And after that game is over, that's it for spring football. And we have about Mike, what 5 weeks after that?
5, 6 weeks until NFL training camp starts.
86
That's
days. 86 days.
barren wasteland out there.
Mike, 86 days. Who could that be? Who do you think of for the Steelers when you think of 86?
I don't know, man, but it's bringing a smile to my face.
Eric Green. Big Eric Green back when we were growing up. Remember the tight end?
Yes, he was the modern. He would be like a modern day tight end.
That's right.
Yeah, he was like that first one that was running and catching, just a beast blocking.
Right.
Yeah. And like an all
NBA
around tight end. And he went to the worst team to showcase that talent.
You're right. The NHL, Mike, last night, Florida. Florida jumps up on Edmonton in Edmonton,
Woo.
take the 3-0
Yep.
lead in the series. They won 4-3 last night over Edmonton. I thought if Edmonton wins last night, it's going to be a series.
Yep.
I got to tell you, it's looking bad for Edmonton at the time. The game 4 will be Sunday at 8 o'clock. And then finally, the NBA, Boston up 3-0 over Dallas. Their game 4 is tonight at 8:30. If you're going to watch that, so
I think we're gonna have two sweeps. We're gonna have two sweeps on our hands,
which is terrible. Which is terrible for the leagues when trying to make money again. When it comes down to the economics, it's a terrible thing to sweep somebody.
Yeah.
So I wonder if these series will get stretched at least one more game.
Yeah, like we were saying off air, it's great for the hometown fans.
Yeah,
it's terrible for the league.
Terrible. Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the email? I'm sorry, about the website.
The2dumyinzers.com. Over there we have links to all of our social medias. We got the blog over there. We got the merch store over there. And the email address is Yinzers at gmail.com. If you have any comments, questions, that's TWODUMYINZERS at gmail.com is the email address. I'm throwing it out there, even though you just because you said it by mistake, Ryan.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you do the website yet?
I did the website,
Okay.
twodumyinzers.com. That's out there. I like how you just tuned me out when I start
Well,
talking.
I'm trying to catch up on the board here.
No, you're good, dude. Yeah, I was doing the
Everybody's
same thing too
comment
when you were talking.
everybody's
It's
comment is
popping off.
important.
Yeah.
One, I'm just going to jump in real quick and just address one. P, I agree. He says Christian Leitner made the dream team. I think that Caitlin Clark should have at least fell into that kind of position with this USA dream team or this USA team. She should have kind of been that college gal, but I don't know. Mike, you ready for some trivia?
I'm ready for some motherfucking trivia.
Guys on the board, this is a good one. If you've seen this
Thanks,
online,
Steelers Freak.
just play along. But this is the question of the day, guys. This is a Steeler question. All right. Since 2008, the Pittsburgh Steelers had 9 different quarterbacks have multiple starts. One more time. Since 2008, the Steelers had 9 quarterbacks make multiple starts for this team. Now, the question is, I'm going to give you the 9 guys, but you're going to tell me the one of the 9, the only one that had a losing record of these 9 quarterbacks that played multiple games by the Steelers in the last 16 seasons. Here we go. Charlie Batch, Michael Vick, Dennis Dixon, Landry Jones, Mason Rudolph, Devlin Hodges, Ben Roethlisberger, Mitch Trubisky, and Kenny Pickett. Only one of these Steeler quarterbacks that played more than 2 games, multiple games for this Steeler started, I'm talking about. Only one of those names have a losing record with the Steelers during that time. Batch, Vick, Dixon, Jones, Rudolph, Hodges, Ben, Trubisky, Kenny. Feel free on the board to play along. Only one of these 9 guys have a losing record as a Steeler quarterback, and all 9 of these guys have multiple starts since 2008 for the Steelers. Which one of those guys has the losing record? Batch, Vick, Dixon, Landry Jones, Rudolph, Duck Hodges, Ben, Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett. One has a losing record for the Steelers. Ralph on the board says Mitch Trubisky. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Trubisky. It's either him or Dennis Dixon, but I'm gonna take Trubisky.
All right.
Vic was here for a cup of coffee. He played a couple 2 seasons, I think.
Yeah, I liked when he was here. I liked Vic, and he was really cool when he was here. Steeler Freak says Dennis Dixon. Mike and Ralph are saying Mitch Trubisky. P, who do you think? Brian? Anybody else? I'll hold on a minute or two, but let me go back to a couple of things here. Luca ain't gonna learn to play defense in 2 days. Right. You know what? It's so bad. I watched that because everyone's talking about how bad his defense is. I can't believe that they won before. Didn't they just win last year?
No, that was Jokic's team.
Oh, that's right. The Nuggets.
Yeah, those white European basketball players all look the same.
Dude, he is so slow.
He is too. He plays
so slow.
He plays
I couldn't
slow
believe
game on offense.
I couldn't believe it. I thought this guy's in the NBA.
He's a damn good player though, offensively. Take him Batch.
Batch, which he had a bigger server size. Okay, so P, you're saying Batch. Okay. P saying Batch. Steeler Freak saying Dixon. Ralph says Trubisky. Mike, you're saying Trubisky.
Yep.
Let me give it to you one more time here. Only one of the 9 following players had a losing season for the Steelers. These 9 guys are all guys that had multiple starts for the Steelers since 2008. Let me give it to you like this. Batch, Vick, Dennis Dixon, Landry Jones, Mason Rudolph, Devlin Hodges, Duck, of course, Ben Roethlisberger, Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett. Mike says Mitch. P says Batch. Steeler Freak says Dixon. Ralph says Mitch. the answer to this question of the day, guys, the only one of these 9 quarterbacks that had multiple starts for the Steelers since '08 was, in fact, Mitch Trubisky. And Brian did say Mitch as well. It was coming in as I was saying it, so I know he didn't cheat. But yes, Mitch Trubisky of these 9 were the only guys
Nope.
was the only guy that had a losing record, which is pretty amazing when you look at it. Mike Dixon, you know,
Right? I'm trying to think who was on that team when Dennis Dixon was around.
and Batch. Come on, a lot of these Devlin Hodges, Duck.
Yeah, that's when we were running out with like Lev Bell doing the Wildcat and shit like that.
But that is it, guys. The since '08, Mitch
Yeah.
Trubisky is the only Steeler to have a losing record that's started multiple games. I do want to say thank you everybody for watching and hanging out with us today on this Friday. We appreciate each and every one of you. We certainly couldn't do it without you. Also, we want to thank everybody. The board is popping today. We want to thank you so much. Always keep it interesting. Mike, my thing is this. Keep my thing for the day. My extra word is this. If you were upset that Joey Chestnut will not be participating on July 4th, no need to fret, because on Monday, September 2nd, Unfinished Beef is what it's called. It is going to be on Netflix. It's a Netflix live special. Unfinished Beef. It's going to be Joey Chestnut versus Kobayashi. So, guys, this is even better than the regular Nathan's eating contest. This is between the two, this is like Jeopardy champions playing each other.
Showdown.
The showdown. Kobayashi and Joey Chestnut, September 2nd. NFL is going to be kicking off. The Mike Tyson fight is going to be around this time. A lot of things coming up this fall.
Yes.
But there it is. It's called. They're labeling it Unfinished Beef is what this is called.
I love it.
And it's a live Netflix special. Again, September 2nd on Netflix. Mike, what do you got? Anything before we take off?
Yeah, I got the 6 highest paid quarterbacks coming in next year.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence and Joey Burrow tied at 55 million. Jared Goff at 53, Herbert at 52.5, Lamar at 52, and Jalen Hurts at 51. That Patrick Mahomes deal looks better and better every year.
You ain't kidding.
Next year his stuff jumps up to like 67 million, I think, but I think even then he's still underpaid for how good he is.
I have one more interesting tidbit if you guys want to hear one more.
Yeah.
Kevin Pillar in the major leagues. Get this, back in 2015, Kevin Pillar, he played for the Blue Jays. He hit 278 that season, Mike. He also hit 278 against lefties.
Wow.
He hit 278 against righties. He's hit 278 in the first half of the season. He hit 278 in the second half of the season, and he hit 278 on artificial turf.
What is the chances? That is the model of consistency.
Right? He was the anti-pirate. No wonder he was never on our baseball team. Mike, 278 in all those different situations. I thought that was amazing, mind-blowing. So I did want to throw that out there before we did leave for the weekend. Kobayashi is coming out of retirement like Apollo Creed, baby. I think it's going to be great. And it's not a pay-per-view. I love that. It is Netflix. So anybody could at least sign up and get the free Netflix and then watch it and then let it go if you don't want it. But Mike, anything else?
I got nothing. Just have a great weekend, everyone.
Yes. Again, thank you so much, everybody. It was really great hearing from you and talking with you. For Mike in the Steeler Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two Dum Yinzers, we hope everybody has a great, safe weekend. And we'll be back same time on Monday to do it all over again and talk about a whole bunch of things going on. Pirates starting a series in Colorado tonight. You got Pittsburgh Passion Girls finishing up their women, finishing up regular season. The Hounds back at it. NHL, NBA, the UFL Championship Sunday. A lot to talk about Monday, so we hope to see you guys all back then. But as I said, Mike, myself, the two Dum Yinzers, everybody have a great, safe weekend. And we'll see everybody on Monday. Bye-bye.
See you.